Hi, nerds. I want to go over what's going to be happening with our project. So let's do a quick review. First thing is if you go to our homework wiki, there are 3 handouts this week. You need to download those. And we're going to talk about our first major project. So you've kind of messed with learning how to use an external microphone and other such items. Now it's time to actually do that. So you're going to get a chance to be both creative and apply what you've learned by using the external equipment that we have here at Vision Tech. So with that in mind, just a quick review. Basically, this unit is to help you understand how to use all the major apps with iLife that come with a Mac. And there's some amazing tools there. We're going to learn how to functionally use iTunes, iMovie, Garageband, the actual photo for iPhoto, which we've kind of covered when we did some editing, but I'll show you some fine-tuned things, and iWeb. Now, iWeb, guys, we're really not going to mess with. It's defunct, but some people still like to refer to it. So we're going to focus on iTunes, iMovie, GarageBand, and Photos. So things that you'll be able to do is you'll be able to use all types of media formats. You'll be able to use all the equipment from external microphones to camcorders to scanners, and I'm going to have you use projects to create projects using those. We have not had a one-to-one with scanners, but we'll get there when I need you to. So I'm going to need you to be able to use all of that equipment, create content, and then actually utilize it. So we're going to talk about your project. So that's kind of our learning lesson, guys, in a nutshell. Let's look at your project. When you download this, we're going to begin work with Project A. Now, there's 3 projects on here that we'll be working with, but we're going to look at Project A. And Project A is called Musical Audio U. And notice I don't say just musical, because yes, we're going to create music, but your thing is to be creative with the creation of audio. And I'm going to talk about some different options. So it's called Theme for All Music and Production Should Be You. That's the theme of this. This is kind of an album that's meant to represent things that you're into, your passions, your loves, whatever it is. This project combines your knowledge of iPhoto and GarageBand. You're going to create a brief audio showcase. This showcase should be composed of 2 or more, if you wish, songs that must be between 1 and 3 minutes in length. I'm going to tell you straight up, that sounds like not much time, but when it comes to making this type of music, that is lengthy and it takes work. Song number 1 should demonstrate your control of original loops, and that means material that you pull from the application itself. And one of the things you're going to learn about today is what loops are and how to use them. And you actually to make some content out of GarageBand. You are allowed to play your own instrument as an option here as well. Lyrics and vocals are optional. That's the truth, but you've got whatever that is the first song, you have to use loops. That's the requirement. Song number 2 should demonstrate your ability to feed into GarageBand, meaning in song number 2 somewhere, you have to use your external microphone or an external MIDI. And I'm going to kind of explain what a MIDI is. We covered that, but you must choose to use one of those 2 things, either a MIDI or an external microphone to capture input from the outside. Yes, you can also add vocals or sound effects or any kind of music recorded with an external microphone. When you're finished with those 1, 2, 3 songs or 1 to 2 songs, you're going to publish those songs to iTunes and create an album with proper information formatted. Your album should have a name. So it's because this album is based on you, you should think of what an actual album is. So for example, Adele, when she released her album, it was called 25 because when she wrote all of the music for it, she was 25 years old and there was a picture of her and it was called 25. So, think about your favorite album that you've listened to, whatever artist that is, and realize that you've got to do the same, that you're going to have a theme that drives your album. The songs are going to be posed by you. So guys, you've got a lot of leeway, but you just have to remember that the first song has to use loops and the second song has to use an external microphone or MIDI. Mrs. Dink, what if all of my songs do all of the above? Then guess what? Your bases are totally covered. right? So, you've got some flexibility here. You just have to make sure that you're able to address those needs. And your album should be designed with a name. So it's going to be, you're going to have an album cover, and it can be taken with an original photo and modified and designed. But yeah, you get to use all of those content. So that's where we're going to go. Now, we're not ready to be there yet because you don't know how to use the application software itself. So that's what today is about. So with that in mind, let me send you to where you need to go. So if you look on our wiki, I'm talking to you from here, and this actual link here is going to take you to some content. So let's talk about what GarageBand for Mac is. Basically, guys, it comes with your Mac. It allows you to create what are called tracks. And if you look at each one of these lines, each one of those is a track. Those tracks can be layered, and each track can be edited for content. You can add sound effects, depth, control the rhythm of it. And to edit each one, you have to click, and so that it can see what you're editing. It's going to change the color of whatever you're editing by clicking. Notice here that you've also got input as far as being able to control which speaker and sound comes from each one of those layers. And notice that you can add that content. Notice that you can add input yourself via the electronical instruments or from an external source like a MIDI or a microphone. And that too can have effects added to each one of those. That you can actually add beats and modify those beats by using cymbals or different soundtracks. Keep in mind that all of these are editable whenever you come to them. And notice, guys, you can watch how this looks or sounds. Yeah, so I mean, you're going to have incredible choices. And notice it's broken into areas. You can actually select different types of rhythm to add. And notice that we also have different kinds of synthesizers that you can add or control. Okay, so you have incredible options. And not only that, GarageBand can also teach you how to play an instrument. Now, we're not going to go there. Our big thing is learning how to use the application itself. It is intuitive, but folks, listen to me carefully. If you are going to do well on this project, do not skip learning how to use the lessons themselves. I'm going to tell you that straight up, because if you do, you're going to run into a wall really fast. Before you run, learn how to use the program. That's the most important thing I can tell you. If you skip what I'm telling you, you're going to crash. And I can guarantee it. I watch it over and over again, but I'm going to have people crash, and they're going to wonder why. And it's because they did not listen to me when I said this. Learn how to use the application and the software. And to do that, I need you to do the following. You're going to go to this link, and that link is actually listed, and I'm going to list it for you. And I want you to skip down here to where you get to lesson 3. Start right here, selecting a project type and selecting a track type. So you're going to do area 3, lesson D and E. And what you're going to do is when you click on it, it's going to go through and you're going to walk through it. You need to open your own GarageBand and pay attention to what it's doing. They're going to tell you how to do it, and then you do it. So you can look at it and see what you're seeing. So you're going to cover lesson 3, D and E, all of lesson 4, A through G, lesson 5, A through G, and saving your song to an MP3 file. You're going to cover all of those and practice with your GarageBand. That is, what you need to do with your time this hour is learn how to use GarageBand. Because on Friday, I'm going to wrap you around some actual creation, and then we're going to actually be making your stuff. So learn how to use your application, folks, by getting started here. I can't wait to see what you're going to do. Oh, last thing. Examples of theme projects. Start thinking about what you want to build for yourself. For example, I had one student who did all of his musical intake. I mean, he was a baseball player, and so all of his project was using um, baseball, like a baseball theme in his project. So he downloaded bits and audio aspects of old radio shows that not were covered baseball games. He actually brought his baseball bats and created sound input for them into his album, and he used a leather glove and a ball to create rhythm. I mean, it was just really, really cool. So that's an option. I will try to play you some examples to get you to think about what you might want to do. But in the meantime, learn how to use the application. We'll talk to you later.